friends. Okay, today we're gonna do a reverse French twist to the side. And it's gonna start with someone whose hair isn't super long and maybe they wanna have a little bit off to the side on their shoulder, but they still want something going on in the back, but not using a lot of curls, not a lot pinned. So this is a nice way to give sort of an alternative to a traditional side updo. Okay, so what we're gonna do is starting out by sectioning out the front of their hair. So take a section from temple to temple and then draw that back in sort of a U shape and gather that up in the top because we're going to use this last. And then what you're going to do is start with the middle section and then we're going to do the bottom section. So for the beginning, what I want you to do is go through and prep the hair. So I've already done a lot of prep on your hair. I've done a lot of hairspray. We're going to do texture spray because you want a lot of texture in this look. So go through, do hairspray, comb through it so it's not sticky. You want to do that first and foremost. And then go through with a little texture spray, a little texture powder, and we're going to do that sort of all over to give a lot of nice grip to the hair. She already has some bend in her hair. I have a little bit of curl in it already, so if your model doesn't have any curl, just go through with a curling iron and give it a little bit of a bend so it's not stick straight, and that will help give some good volume and lift as you go through. So the first thing that you're going to do is we're going to use our fingers to finger comb the hair away from the face. If they want a lot of volume, then you want to go through and take diagonal sections and do a little bit of back combing, so just slightly, to give it a little more lift. So you can see it gives a little bit of a boost here. And what you're going to do first is do some texture spray, and then you are going to use your fingers to kind of rake through the hair here. So you'll rake through like this and bringing it loosely back to the center of the head. And then you can bring your fingers together and you're going to pin this part. So I'm going to go through with my pins, and as you can see I'm holding it super loosely, and I'm going to pin down in a straight line like this. If her hair is super thick, you might need to do this in 2 sections, meaning break this up in half and do it that way. So I brought that over and I pinned it enough so it stays. Put a couple extra pins in just to make sure you're really secure here. All right, then if you like how that looks from the front, so making sure it's loose enough and piecey enough, then you can spray that a little bit. Do a little spray. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm raking with my fingers after I do the texture spray. So texture spray, raking through with my fingers, but this time instead of pinning, raking through, and I'm going to twist it over. So use your left hand and then gather it like this with this hand, and you can twist it over like that. So rake it and then twist it over. So you're twisting it over the bobby pins that you already laid down. And you'll take a pin, you'll grab onto the hair, and then push it towards the scalp and then back towards you. And what you're doing is actually pinning that into the line of bobby pins that you just pinned down, which is like you would do a traditional French twist, only you would go upwards. Once you've secured that, you can make sure that all the hair is gathered from above the ear on this side. So I'm going to put one more pin in because this is sort of loose here. And you can go through and loosen it in any way that you want. If you want to make it more piecey or more textured, pull through at this point. And then if you like what you see on both sides, then you can spray it a little bit more with your hairspray. All right, now that you've done this part, you have the bottom section left. And so what we're going to do is gather up the hair from this side and pull it over here. So before you do that, you want to back comb this bottom section a little bit. So it's from the nape of the neck down, and I'll take this hair and I'm going to back comb in the direction that I want to go. So because I'm moving the hair in this way, I'm going to back comb in that direction so I don't see any of the back combing. So I'm just dividing, back combing this a little bit to give it some grip. And that way, when I pin, I'm going to have something to pin into, and the hair is not going to be really slippery. So I'm pinning it, or I'm back combing it away from me, You can see we have a little bit of pieciness here now, and we have some grip to it. So you want to gather all this in your hands and roll it over. So I'm taking 2 of my fingers, grabbing the hair and rolling it, and then using this hand to pull it the rest of the way. And I'll do the same technique I did up here, but this time I'm going to go towards the scalp and back up, because up is where the bobby pins are. So up in this direction. We'll do another one kind of on the inside here, up that way. All right, so you can see it's starting to come over to this side. And I don't want to have like an awkward tail back here like that, so I'm going to bring this up just a little bit more. So I'll pin this side up here, and then I'm going to pin it up into the roll so that you don't see any bobby pins. You might need to get a couple pins in there to make sure it stays, especially if the hair is thick. And then I'll just make sure to bring any more hair from the back of the head up and over so you don't have a weird tail. So I'm going to take this piece here that's from the middle, and I'll bring it up and over into the twist. You can pin into that. And then with these pieces, you can decide if they want to have it to be long and draped over the shoulder, or if they want to take these pieces and you can curl them away from the face and pin them back into the twist. So if they want it to be more secure and more contained like a ponytail, then you can turn and pin it back into itself like that. If you just want it looser, sometimes that looks really nice just to curl that and have that softly kind of falling over their shoulder like that. So this is the reverse French twist. And you want to touch up these curls at the end. And then what we have is the top left. So take this down, and each section I want to back comb a little bit. So I'm going to make a horizontal section here. I'm going to back comb it a little bit, and then do another horizontal section as we get towards the face, just to give some volume that way, and a little bit here. And then I'm going to skip the very front because I don't want to see any back combing right here. I'm going to pull it over. And so I'm going to hold it loosely in my hands and do texture spray over the top. And then just rake through and hold it super loosely like this. And then you can decide, do you want this to flow seamlessly into your twist? If so, then you can gather all this in your fingers and twist it. And if you twist it like that, then what you can do is pin it right into this French twist, like that. If you want it to be a little bit more loose and messy looking, then I'll do the rake technique and kind of pull pieces out like this. And then I'm just going to pin straight into the hair up here. So I'll take the top of the pin and I'm going to put it in this way, just right on top, over towards this side. And then once it's secure enough and you kind of have this top part kind of like loosely draped in a really boho way, what you can do is take this side and drape it over to cover up your bobby pins. So I'm going to drape that over, and then I'll actually tuck this bobby pin just underneath the twist here like that. So that way it's a little bit more loose and boho looking, and then I can just use these ends to either twist into the French twist, or if you want to just kind of let them go loose like this, you can take different pieces and curl and tuck them into the side. And that way you have a really soft look in the front like that. That's not super structured, but you have a really secure updo in the back that's going to last all night, and give them an option to not have a really curly look, but something a little sleeker, a little more sophisticated. Or, like I said, if you kind of want to keep the pieces out like this, it can be a little bit more boho and more messy. So you have a lot of options with this, but this looks really great on someone who has kind of medium hair or even really long hair, if it's not too thick and it can withhold being pulled over all to one side. Sometimes when the hair is really heavy, it doesn't stay really well like this, so you're gonna have to do it in more sections. But when the hair is medium, not super thick, and not super long, it will hold really nicely if you do good prep with hairspray and a lot of texture spray as you're working. So I hope you like this video. If you like it, then click like and subscribe, and be sure to make sure you're on our Updo Collective Facebook page. I'd love to have you there to show you more tips and tricks and how to build your bridal business. Thanks for joining me.